Hey guys, it's Pao from Powcast.net, and today I just wanted to talk about Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor. And I'm calling this event an evolutionary innovation in combat sports. So first, I would like to define innovation based on Google. Evolutionary innovation, what is it? It's a continuous or dynamic evolutionary innovation that are brought about by many incremental advances in technology or process, and revolutionary innovation, also called as discontinuous innovation, which are often disruptive or new. Now that's very straightforward, and I just also wanted to quickly touch on the first ever recorded boxing match. On January 6, 1681, the first recorded boxing match took place in Britain with Christopher Mock. He's the second Duke of Albemarle and later Lieutenant Governor of Jamaica. He engineered a bout between his butler and his butcher, and I don't think it has any rules. Actually, it could even be earlier than that, as I've read as well online that ancient Greek believed that gods of Olympus played fist fighting and became part of Olympic Games in about 688 BC. In MMA, it's actually the same thing. In ancient Greece, there was a sport called pancration, which featured combination of grappling and striking skills similar to those found in modern MMA, and this event is also even included in the Olympics. 33rd Olympiad, 648 BC. That was a long time ago. Sorry to give you a brief history in combat sport, but I think it's relevant to what I'm going to say. Now, fast forward today, those combat event is actually very different from today. These sports has evolved into what we call today as modern boxing and MMA, and boxing has surfaced and had emerged to be the combat sports of choice. But MMA for me has caught up and has become the fastest growing sport in the world today. And for the simple reason that the people who are doing MMA nowadays are more flexible, they're more technology savvy, and probably more open-minded to change. Now, I'm not saying that boxing is not. So yes, I'm calling MMA promoters and Dana White innovators. He is one of many people responsible for making MMA to what it is today, and I'm also calling everyone that is part of the Floyd and Conor event genius and courageous at the same time. Now, even with all of the backlash from the boxing community, they made it happen. Now, they answered to the call of the fans, and they delivered it in a timely manner. Now, boxing of today is mostly unable to do that and has mostly procrastinated to the call of the fans. While boxing is still the top combat sport in the world, MMA is slowly creeping and catching up. Now, people need to realize that the world has changed and the fans of today are different from the past. Everything has evolved. What you're eating, you're watching, what you're using has changed to whatever the demand of today's high technology marketplace. Those who fail to evolve will certainly be left behind. Now, boxing has evolved in a way, but MMA is doing it faster. Although there are a lot of good boxing matchups recently and on schedule, the boxing and MMA community still clamored for the Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor show. And there is a reason for that. Again, times are changing. Now, all the boxing purists and some of the people of the boxing communities were against this. And one of them is Oscar De La Hoya, who publicly denounced and has called boxing communities to boycott this fight or this event. But of course, according to Dana White, Oscar was merely sour graping because Conor chooses to fight Floyd instead of Canelo, who is under his promotions. Anyway, the point here is that the sport is alive because of the paying fans. While the fans doesn't know everything about the sports, we all have to remember that it is the biggest lifeline of any sports. It is the main reason why the sport is alive, as well as media sponsors and other partners that are supporting the events. Do you think these giants companies would shell out millions for a fight that no one will watch? Do you think? Hell no! It's a money fight. It's a business. And Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather is literally that. Now, if the fans want to see that fight, they should get it. Yes, I know it may not be as competitive as the casual fan think it will be, but they wanted to see it, and they're willing to pay for it. So give it to them. Personally, I also believe that this would be far from being competitive. Now, Floyd has been boxing for years and Conor has not. Floyd is also one of the best defensive fighters ever. I know that he will use that skill against Conor McGregor, who would realize that boxing is an entirely different animal than MMA. Again, I'm not discounting Conor McGregor here, but he probably needs to grab and take down Floyd to get a hold of him. Unfortunately, he cannot do that because this is going to be a boxing event with boxing rules. Yes, Conor is a great MMA fighter, and it will entirely be a different story if they would have met in an octagon or in an MMA cage. But this is a boxing event. Now, we have seen boxers fight inside an MMA cage, and now an MMA fighter will battle in the boxing ring. Now, it's not the first time I believe that it ever happened, but it is the first time that someone will do it in this magnitude. Now, in a way, Conor and Floyd, these two fighters will be credited for innovating and disrupting the sport. Now, after a few years, this type of event could become a norm, and fans will continue to call for dream fights like this, and promoters should answer those calls. Let me say it one more time. Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor event. It's an evolutionary innovation in combat sport. Now, a long time ago, Alexander Graham Bell, if you know him, just a brief history lesson, he was credited for inventing the telephone. But the fact of the matter is, it wasn't just him who made it all possible. The phone that he created then also isn't exactly a part of our daily life nowadays. Even the early mobile phones have been obsolete with the new modern smartphones. Now, there are a lot of examples of how things have evolved and changed because of the people. Now, do you remember when someone put an ice cream on top of a soda? That was odd at the start, right? When you see a young businessman wear sneakers with their tie and coat, and you know, he's the CEO of the company. Now, when Facebook put almost everything else you need in just one app, and that most people think it's crazy, but the fact is, these people are just innovating and they're disrupting the traditional ways of business, improving our ways of life and improving, the community. It's the same thing in sports. The fact that you're still listening, that means you know that I have a point. So I just don't want to talk about whether the fight will be good or not, because you know that it might not be as competitive, but I know that you will still watch it regardless. And by the way, it has the potential to surprise too. Do you remember Manny Pacquiao and Oscar De La Hoya? People think Oscar was too big for Manny, but it surprised everyone. So, let's rather discuss how this event could change the course of combat sports, and let me know what you think. If this is an innovation for you, or this is gonna disrupt or it's bad for boxing or MMA. Again, this is Pau from Powcast.net, and this is an audio blog. Just wanted to share my views on the upcoming boxing event, Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor on August 26th. Thank you very much for watching, and for more sports update, just go to Powcast.net Sports Hub. This is Pau Salud. Thank you very much. Please put your comments below.